Ever feel like you're talking to a brick wall? We've all been there. You're trying to reason with someone, maybe a friend, family member, or even a colleague. You present facts, logic, maybe even a touch of humor, but their opinion stays put, firm as ever. This, my friends, is the frustrating reality of dealing with stubborn minds. In this video, we're diving deep into the fascinating world of stubbornness. We'll explore why some people cling so tightly to their beliefs. More importantly, we'll uncover practical strategies to navigate these tricky situations. You'll learn how to engage in meaningful dialogue, plant seeds of doubt, and maybe, just maybe, encourage a shift in perspective. Get ready to unlock the secrets of changing a stubborn mind. Before we jump into strategies, let's take a moment to understand the root of stubbornness. It's easy to label someone as difficult or inflexible. However, stubbornness often stems from deeper motivations. Fear of the unknown, a need for control, or even past experiences can all contribute to this rigidity. Imagine someone who grew up in a household where their opinions were constantly dismissed. This individual might develop a defensive stance, clinging tightly to their beliefs as a way to protect themselves, or consider someone who's afraid of change. Any challenge to their viewpoint might be perceived as a threat, triggering resistance. By understanding the underlying reasons behind stubbornness, we can approach these situations with greater empathy and effectiveness. Remember, it's not about winning an argument, but rather about fostering understanding and connection. One of the most powerful tools in your arsenal is empathy. It's the ability to step outside your own perspective and truly see the world through the other person's eyes. When dealing with a stubborn individual, try to understand their background, experiences, and fears. Ask yourself, what might have led them to form this opinion? What are they afraid of? What are their underlying needs and motivations? By acknowledging their feelings and perspectives, you create a safe space for dialogue. This doesn't mean you have to agree with them, but it does mean showing respect and understanding. Imagine trying to convince your grandfather to try a new restaurant. Instead of dismissing his preference for familiar dishes, acknowledge his love for tradition and comfort. You might say, "Grandpa, I understand you enjoy the familiar flavors of our usual spot, but this new place uses fresh, local ingredients, just like you taught me to appreciate." Empathy is the bridge that connects hearts and opens minds. We often focus on what we're going to say next, rather than truly listening to the other person. Active listening, however, is a game changer. It involves paying undivided attention, asking clarifying questions, and reflecting back what you've heard. When you actively listen, you demonstrate genuine interest and respect. This can disarm defensiveness and create an environment where the other person feels heard and understood. Instead of interrupting or offering solutions, focus on understanding their perspective. Use phrases like, "Tell me more about that," or "I hear you saying." For example, imagine your friend is adamant about a conspiracy theory, despite overwhelming evidence to the contrary. Instead of immediately bombarding them with facts, try saying, "This is obviously something you feel strongly about. Can you help me understand why?" By actively listening, you show respect and open the door for a more productive conversation. Planting seeds of doubt. A gentle approach. Directly challenging someone's beliefs often backfires, triggering defensiveness. A more subtle approach is to plant seeds of doubt. This involves gently introducing alternative perspectives or pieces of information that might challenge their assumptions. Instead of saying "you're wrong," you might say, "That's an interesting point. Have you considered this perspective?" Or, "I came across this article that presented a different viewpoint. I'd be curious to hear your thoughts." The key is to be curious, not confrontational. Let's say your colleague is convinced their marketing strategy is foolproof, despite declining sales. Instead of directly criticizing their approach, you could say, "I admire your confidence in this strategy. Have you considered the impact of the recent market shift on consumer behavior?" By subtly introducing an alternative viewpoint, you encourage them to question their assumptions without feeling attacked. Asking the right questions, guiding, not forcing. Questions are powerful tools for stimulating critical thinking and encouraging self-reflection. Instead of telling someone they're wrong, ask open-ended questions that guide them towards considering different perspectives. Avoid questions that can be answered with a simple yes or no. Instead, opt for questions that encourage them to explain their reasoning, explore alternatives, and consider potential consequences. For example, instead of asking, "Don't you think that's a bit extreme?" try asking, "What led you to that conclusion?" or "What would happen if?" Imagine your sibling is dead set against getting vaccinated. Instead of lecturing them about the importance of vaccines, you could ask, "What are your concerns about getting vaccinated?" Once you understand their fears, you can address them with empathy and provide accurate information. By asking the right questions, you empower the other person to examine their beliefs and potentially arrive at new conclusions on their own. Appealing to emotions, the heart of the matter. Logic and facts are important, but they often fail to penetrate the fortress of stubbornness. Emotions, on the other hand, hold immense power. When we can connect with someone on an emotional level, we're more likely to break down barriers and foster understanding. Try to identify the emotions driving their stubbornness. Are they afraid, angry, insecure? Once you understand their emotional landscape, you can tailor your approach accordingly. For example, if someone is afraid of change, you might highlight the positive aspects of the proposed change. Or, if they're feeling insecure, you might emphasize how their input is valued and appreciated. Let's say your partner refuses to go to therapy despite ongoing communication issues. Instead of focusing on the logical benefits of therapy, try appealing to their emotions. You might say, "I know you're worried about what therapy might mean for us, but I love you, and I want us to be as strong as we can be." By connecting with their emotions, you create a more receptive environment for change. Leading by example. Actions speak louder. Sometimes the most effective way to change someone's mind is not through words, but through actions. When you consistently model the behavior, beliefs, or values you're advocating for, you demonstrate their validity and appeal. People are more likely to be persuaded by what they see than by what they hear. If you're trying to convince someone of the benefits of a healthy lifestyle, for example, let your own healthy habits speak for themselves. Similarly, if you're trying to promote open-mindedness, demonstrate your own willingness to consider different perspectives. Imagine you're trying to convince your team to adopt a new project management software. Instead of simply lecturing them on its benefits, start using it yourself and highlight its positive impact on your workflow. As they witness the software's effectiveness firsthand, they're more likely to become receptive to change. Remember, actions speak louder than words, especially when dealing with stubborn minds. Recognizing when to step back. Choosing your battles. As important as it is to be patient and persistent, it's equally crucial to recognize when to step back. Not every battle is worth fighting, and sometimes the most loving and compassionate act is to simply agree to disagree. If you've exhausted all your efforts and the other person remains firmly entrenched in their beliefs, it might be time to let go. Continuing to push or argue will likely only lead to frustration and resentment. Instead, focus your energy on areas where you can find common ground or respectfully agree to disagree. For example, if your political debates with a family member always end in arguments, it might be best to avoid discussing politics altogether. Instead, focus on shared interests and values that bring you together. Remember, you can't force someone to change their mind. Sometimes, the most powerful thing you can do is to respect their right to their own beliefs, even if you don't agree with them. Want more insights on dealing with difficult personalities? Dealing with stubborn individuals can be challenging, but understanding the dynamics of narcissism can provide valuable insights. Narcissists often exhibit extreme stubbornness and resistance to change. Subscribe to our channel to receive exclusive content on navigating narcissistic relationships, setting boundaries, and protecting your own well-being. You'll gain valuable tools and strategies to navigate these complex dynamics and foster healthier relationships. Now it's your turn. Share your thoughts. I'd love to hear from you. Have you ever dealt with a stubborn individual? What strategies have you found effective in changing their minds? Share your experiences, insights, and any questions you might have in the comments section below. Your experiences can provide valuable lessons for others facing similar challenges. Let's create a supportive community where we can learn from each other and navigate the complexities of human relationships together. Turning knowledge into action. Make a change today. Understanding how to change a stubborn mind is a valuable life skill. By embracing empathy, active listening, and strategic communication, you can bridge divides, foster understanding, and potentially encourage a shift in perspective. Remember, change takes time and effort. Be patient, persistent, and don't be afraid to adjust your approach as needed. And most importantly, never underestimate the power of genuine connection in breaking down barriers and opening minds. Now is the time to subscribe as we continue our series on narcissism, so we can provide you with ways of dealing with difficult people. Now that you're equipped with these powerful tools, I challenge you to put them into practice. Identify one relationship in your life where stubbornness is creating a barrier. Choose one strategy from this video and commit to implementing it this week. You might be surprised by the transformative power of your efforts. See you in the next video.